Welcome to the Dump Truck Toolbox. I'm Alan. Thank you for joining me on the channel today. We're going to be talking about economic opportunities and threats in the hauling business. Today I want to show you some data that I've collected from the Federal Reserve on the state of demand for construction in the United States. Here's the total spending on construction US-wide. In January of 2019, it was about $1.3 trillion a year. And then most recently, in June of 2024, it is now $2.1 trillion. And that's an increase of about $800 billion in 5 years. So that's good news for those of us that work in and support the construction industry. There's a lot of demand for our services and materials. As you may know, if you're a regular on the channel, I drive for a company who makes asphalt and also does quite a bit of road construction. So this chart is total construction spending on highway construction and street construction in the U.S. And so it was, in the doldrums, right around $100 billion a year in 2020. And then since 2022, it has gone up to $150 billion a year. A lot of the boom in highway and street construction has come from the infrastructure stimulus that the federal government passed a few years back. It poured $550 billion into highway and street construction and bridge and tunnel and some other initiatives. In our area, we have two major bridge tunnel projects going on. One of them involves quite a bit of roadway construction as well. And then there is addition of express lanes happening all along the major interstate through our area. And so there's a lot of work. And I know someone who worked for a support company for dump truck brokers. And he described it as, when all of this started, it just vacuumed up all of the dump trucks in the area. And so it's been a good time to be in the hauling business, to drive a dump truck or own a dump truck in southeastern Virginia over the last few years. So we've talked about economic opportunities in the hauling business. I want to close out talking about economic threats. First of all, inflation. And that's inflation in fuel cost, inflation in repair and maintenance cost, and if you hire drivers for your dump trucks, inflation in labor cost. Here's a look at diesel prices and maintenance and repair cost. The diesel prices, and anyone who's been driving knows this, but in the last 5 years, they've gone up fairly dramatically, peaking in 2022 at about $5.75 a gallon. That was hard to swallow, and it's back down now to around $4 a gallon. Maintenance and repair costs have increased. They're up about 30% from 2019. Commercial truck driver wages are a little harder to tease out, so I'm going to bring in hopefully a labor economist in a month or two to give us an update on that. The second threat I want to talk about is interest rates. The Federal Reserve didn't break out commercial truck loan rates, so we're going to use personal auto loan rates for a 60-month period. So loan rates were 4.5% to 5.5% between 2019 and the first part of 2022. Since then, they've jumped to over 8%. I'm going to do a video probably in the next 2 weeks on the impact of that on the cost of operating a hauling business. And I'll use the Dump Truck Toolbox budget simulation to do a compare and contrast of a 5% truck loan versus an 8.5% truck loan and how that impacts your bottom line. So tune in for that. So you put these economic opportunities in terms of a boom in construction and the economic threats related to inflation next to each other, and so what do you do with that? Well, the key thing I think is to see that the opportunities mean that there's more demand for trucking, and the threats are, it's going to cost you more. You got to sort of manage those together. And the most practical thing is, as an owner-operator, you need to stay on top of the market for hauling services. You need to talk to other drivers. You need to talk to yards that you're not currently working for, construction companies that maybe you haven't done business with yet, and just have a sense of what is the hourly rate for my size truck, what is the by the ton rate, what is the by the load rate, for certain distances, and you need to stay on top of that so that if there's a yard that's maybe a little behind the times, they haven't adjusted to the rising fuel prices, you'll know it, and you'll be able to hopefully talk to them and say, hey, you're not competitive with what I could get elsewhere. But then also you can shift your truck to where you're getting more fair compensation. Building this network is important if the economy goes the other way too. If demand for construction services goes down, or fuel prices go down and rates start going down. If you know enough people in the market, you'll know what the going rate is, and you'll be able to find the most desirable way to use your truck and meet your expenses. So I'm Alan. If you found today's video interesting, please click the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I hope to see you again soon on the Dump Truck Toolbox.